Everyone just respond, I am audible, everything is fine or not? Okay. Audio, video, सब कुछ सही है. Everyone just respond so that we can start the session, because this is a very important session, because in this session we are going to discuss some property, or we can say that some property based question regarding to the Fourier transform, regarding to the jet transform. So everybody just respond, I am audible or not? Amruta, अरे कोई तो रिस्पॉन्स कर दो रे बेटा. एवरीवन, अमित, जारिया, मयूर, गुड इवनिंग. अमृता, गुड इवनिंग एवरीवन. ओके, ऑडियबल. अमित राज, अमन, बहुत बढ़िया. सो मेरे प्यारे दोस्तों, इस एवरीथिंग इज ऑडियबल. देन वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट द सेशन. बिफोर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट द सेशन, आई जस्ट वांट टू डिस्कस this is the brief idea about myself. My name is Chandan Jha. 10 plus years of teaching experience. I have cracked the ISRO exam. I have done my masters in the communication and network. Apart from the teaching, I am also taking the motivational session. I have already taken more than 200 motivational sessions in various engineering college, including NITs and some of the IITs also. And this is my area of expert subject: digital circuit, control system, signal and system communication, and the microprocessor. And this today's session, we are going to discuss about the jet transform and some property based question of the jet transform. Everyone, property based question of the jet transform. Okay. Okay, one thing more I want to share, guys. This is the Gradeup Super. If you want to take the subscription, you can take the subscription of the Gradeup Super. And in this Gradeup Super, if you have a subscription of the Gradeup Super, then you are able to access all the live structure course which is provided by the Gradeup. Apart from this, the green card, the every question is basically designed by the gate topper or ESC topper based on the latest pattern. It means the MSQ, NAT, every type of question we are going to discuss. Okay. सो नाउ मेरे प्यारे दोस्तों, नाउ वी आर स्टार्टिंग द सेशन. मैं स्टार्ट कर रहा हूं सेशन को. गुड इवनिंग गीता, मयूर, अमन, प्रिया मोहन, शिराज, ध्रुव, अमित, अमृता. ओके, सो मेरे प्यारे दोस्तों, ऑलरेडी वी हैव डिस्कस्ड द सम पोर्शन रिगार्डिंग टू द व्हाट कम्युनिकेशन जेट ट्रांसफॉर्म, एंड नाउ फ्यू प्रॉपर्टी बेस्ड ऑन द जेट ट्रांसफॉर्म वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस, राइट? ओके, फर्स्ट प्रॉपर्टी वी हैव डिस्कस्ड अबाउट द टाइम डोमेन, or we can say that the first linearity property already we have discussed. After the linearity property, we have discussed the reversal property, and third, after that we have discussed about, दो ही देखा था कल शायद, reversal property देखा था. Now the third one I want to discuss about shifting. Already we know that. एक बार फिर से लिख भी देता हूं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं. Shifting property एक बार लिख भी देता हूं भाई. Shifting property, very important and very easy right now. Okay, sir, if I am writing f of n having the z transform f of z, if f of n having the z transform f of z, then if you are replacing f of n minus n naught, then we can write f of z is multiplied by z raised to power minus n naught. Okay, if you are multiplied with f of n plus n naught, if you are shifting the n plus n naught, then we can write the f of z is basically replaced by z raised to power plus n naught. Already we have discussed this property. Everyone, come on बेटा, अपने दोस्तों के साथ भी शेयर कर दो. कौन सा टॉपिक है? शिवानंद सिंह. बेटा ये जेट ट्रांसफॉर्म का टॉपिक है, और जेट ट्रांसफॉर्म में हम कुछ प्रॉपर्टी पढ़ेंगे, और उस प्रॉपर्टी के बाद में हम उस प्रॉपर्टी पर बेस्ड क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करेंगे. बहुत ही इजी है, पर बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है रिगार्डिंग टू द गेट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू. अगर आप गेट की प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हैं तो आप बिल्कुल सही टॉपिक पे आए हैं, क्योंकि जो हम डिस्कशन करने वाले हैं, दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट प्रॉपर्टी. नोट दिस. आफ्टर दिस वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस, दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट प्रॉपर्टी, एंड वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस दोस प्रॉपर्टी ऑल्सो. सो एवरीवन, शिवानंद मेरा दोस्त मेरा नाम चंदन झा है, राइट? अमृता, सॉरी सर फॉर नॉट अटेंडिंग द लाइव यस्टरडे लाइव क्लासेस, बट आई वॉच्ड इट लेटर. नो इश्यूज अमृता. कॉमल, गुड इवनिंग. चिनी, सर टेक अ मोटिवेशनल इन इंग्लिश. ओके चिनी, डेफिनेटली आई विल टेक इट, नो इश्यूज. ओके, मनीषा, गुड इवनिंग. ओके, सो मेरे प्यारे दोस्तों, अपने दोस्तों को बता भी दो कि जेट ट्रांसफॉर्म चल रहा है, फिर बाद में बोलेंगे कि सर आप जेट ट्रांसफॉर्म पढ़ा दो सर. ओके, नाउ आफ्टर द थर्ड प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ दिस, द नेक्स्ट वन इफ यू वांट टू डिस्कस, आई जस्ट वांट टू राइट द फोर्थ प्रॉपर्टी, दैट इज कॉल्ड, everyone, on this property we are going to discuss about the reversal one thing more, that is called time difference property. Time difference property. Sir, what should be the meaning of time difference property, everybody? Sir, we know that whenever the signal is continuous time signal, come on, whenever the signal is a continuous time signal, then we can say that in the continuous time signal, generally we are preferring continuous time signal के अंदर हम क्या use करते हैं? Differentiation. In the continuous time signal, there will be the differentiation. Here it is called difference. So my dear friend, everybody, so we can say that everyone try to understand. If I am writing कि sir f of n having z transform f of z, if f of n having the z transform f of z, then if I am taking f of n minus 1, then what we can say that, sir, this is called z inverse is multiplied with f of z. Now I'm writing this is equation 1, this is equation 2. Equation 1 में equation 2 को equation 1 में से subtract कर रहे हैं. We are just subtracting this equation from this. So you will get everyone. So you are getting f of n minus f of n minus 1 having the z transform 1 minus z inverse multiplied by f of z. So everybody try to understand. If I just want to write f of n having the z transform f of z. Now f of n minus 1 z inverse, because shifting by 1 it will become z inverse is multiplied with the f of z. Now I'm just subtracting, I'm just writing f of n minus f of n minus 1, that is called time difference. So here it is f of z minus z inverse f of z. I'm taking the f of z common, so it will become 1 minus z inverse f of z. Very simple. Okay, बहुत ही बढ़िया. आज तो मुझे लग रहा है कुछ ज़्यादा इंटरेस्टेड है लोग बेटा सेशन के लिए. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, वेरी गुड, बहुत ही बढ़िया. ओके, now sir, can you explain what is the accumulation property, what is used? Yes Amrita, definitely I'll discuss the accumulation, every property, remaining property I'm going to discuss into today's session, no issues. Now this is called time difference. Right now, after that we know that everybody try to understand differentiation. If the differentiation in the discrete time is called difference, so here it is a difference, so 1 minus z inverse is multiplied. So if it is a summation, then 1 minus z inverse is basically defined. So I'm writing the summation property. So I am writing the summation property. In the sum, again everybody try to understand. If differences happen, then 1 minus, everybody try to understand, if differences happen, then 1 minus z inverse is multiplied. So if you take the summation, the 1 minus z inverse is divide. Very simple. So we can write everybody summation of k equal to minus infinity to n f of k. If you want to write the z transform of this function, we can write f of z divided by 1 minus z inverse. This is called summation property. Apart from this summation property, now we are going to discuss the next property also, right? Agla property, and in the each property we will discuss the question also. Everybody, from the each property we are going to discuss about the question, but for those question you should be a very passionate. आपको बहुत ध्यान से question को एक एक चीज को समझना होगा. Okay, now after the sixth property I just want to share summation property. So shifting property, time difference property, summation property. Now the next property. Good evening, right? Divya, Shiraj. Sir, can I expect the class in the YouTube channel for upcoming ISRO exam? Definitely, Shiraj, definitely. And one thing more I just want to share. Very soon, it means from the Monday onwards. From the Monday onwards, we are going to start the one series. That the name of that series is how you can achieve the 65 plus marks into the gate. It means we are going to cover all the important topic by which you can cover the 65 plus marks into the gate. ये cover करेंगे, and 70 plus 75 plus I think 75 plus it is for EC and 75 plus EE. क्योंकि like EC के अंदर 65 if you are getting, it means you are under 100. So from the Monday onwards we are going to start. Manisha, good evening. Okay. और उसके लिए the regarding to studies, or we can say that the strategy we are going to discuss into the day after tomorrow. Day after tomorrow in the evening I'm going to take the one session in which we are going to discuss the weightage analysis, which subject is most important, which topic is most important for the EC, how we have to deal that important topic. Regarding to that, we are going to take the one session. Okay, Shiraz, thank you. Now the sixth property we are going to discuss, everybody, again, shifting, time difference and summation. After that, if you want to discuss the next property, my dear friend, the next property I am writing multiply by n property. Come on, or first conjugate property I am writing. Conjugate property. Conjugate property. If you want to discuss about the conjugate property, everybody try to understand. If I am writing, sir, if f of n having the z transform f of z, if f of n having the z transform f of z, okay, one thing I just want to share कि सर अगर मैंने कर दिया conjugate, then here we have to take the f of conjugate apart from this z conjugate, and this one is the most important property because sometime filter wala part ab hat gaya, but because lots of time regarding to the filter, that property is very useful, very useful, right, Amit? Okay, Amit bhai. Now after the conjugate property, the next I just want to share the sixth one, multiply by n property. Multiply by n property, right? Sir, what happened into the multiply by n property? Everybody try to understand, very important, right? Try to understand, guys. Sir, if you are writing f of n having the z transform f of z, if f of n having the z transform f of z, then my dear friend, multiply by n property, if you are multiplying the n with f of n multiplying with n, it will become nothing. Sir, f of z, you have to multiply, first you have to differentiate with respect to z, and after that multiply by minus z, you will get the answer. That is called seventh property. इस पर बेस्ड हम कुछ क्वेश्चन करेंगे अभी. just give me 5 to 10 minutes. After that we are going to discuss, right? सर ये ग्रेडअप स्टूडियो में हो क्या? नहीं धर्मेश भाई, मैं अपने घर पे ही हूँ. Okay. Now we are moving on the next, that is remaining 7 properties, also very important and lots of interesting question. एक ही क्वेश्चन के मैं 2 आंसर भी करवाऊंगा बेटा. Try to understand. In the today's session I am going to discuss the 2 questions. Or we can say that the one question with the 2 different solution, right? In the today's session, very important. और आपको भी दूंगा, even the both solution is available into the standard book. Which one is correct? I am going to tell you, right? Okay. Or I am 100% sure the 99% of the people are basically not going to solve that question. उनको बस बुक में रटा है सॉल्यूशन चाहिए होगा. बताऊंगा, देखो आप में से भी बहुत से लोग हैं जो गलत करेंगे उसको. देखो everyone. Okay. Now multiply by n property, that is called like this. Now 8th property, if you want to discuss, I just want to write after the multiply by property, n property, it is also called frequency domain or z domain differentiation property. It is also called like this. Okay, now 8th property, multiplication property or convolution. I am writing multiplication property. Multiplication property. Now my dear friend, for the multiplication property, if you want to write, if I am writing f of n having the z transform f1 of n having the z transform f1 of z, now f2 of n having the z transform f2 of z. Now time domain multiplication give the frequency domain convolution, we already know that. So my dear friend, f1 of n multiplied with f2 of n, if you want to discuss, then time domain multiplication give the frequency domain convolution. So मेरे भाई जल्दी से कर दो मेरे भाई, convolute कर दो. Everyone, मेरे प्यारे दोस्त, you have to convolute f of 2z. Apart from this, do one thing, 1 upon 2 pi j. 1 upon 2 pi j we have to divide also. You have to do like this. It is called multiplication property, right? बहुत से लोग, everyone is basically doing like this, but they have forget to multiply 1 upon 2 pi j. That is the important, right? Do not forget to multiply 1 upon 2 pi j after the convoluting it. Now the next property, the ninth property is called what? Sir, after the multiplication property, the convolution property. Now, convolution property. Convolution property. If you want to discuss about the convolution property, my dear friend, we can say that, sir, we already know time domain multiplication give the frequency domain convolution, and frequency domain or time domain convolution give the frequency domain multiplication. So I am writing, sir, f1 of n having the z transform f1 of z, f2 of n having the z transform f2 of z. So in the time domain, if you are doing the convolution, time domain convolution, frequency domain direct multiplication, f1 of z multiplied by f2 of z. f1 of z is multiplied by f2 of z. That is called very simple discussion, right? Time domain multiplication give the frequency domain convolution. Yes, Divya. Yes, Divya. Definitely. I'll give the ROC concept also. No issues. Okay. Convolution, summation. Okay, now. Separate apart from this, the two properties also that is very important. That is called initial value theorem and final value theorem. And in the tomorrow's session, we are going to discuss the initial value theorem and final value theorem. That is the most important thing, right? And separate session for the initial value theorem and final value theorem. Kanam, sir, once again. Beta सीधा property है. Time domain multiplication give the frequency domain convolution, and time domain convolution give the frequency domain multiplication. Okay, now. Sir, which type of question we can expect? So now I'm going to discuss the few questions based on this, right? Okay. Everyone try to understand. Few question I'm going to discuss. Sub property per based question discuss kar lete hain. And in today's session and day after or tomorrow's session, we are going to discuss only the questions based on the jet transform. Okay. Okay. ओके नाउ अगर अब मेरे भाई देखो क्वेश्चंस को किस तरीके से डिस्कशन करेंगे. क्वेश्चन को डिस्कस करने के लिए सबसे फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन आई एम गिविंग यू, फाइंड द जेट ट्रांसफॉर्म f of n equal to n dot u of n. Find the jet transform of n dot u of n. Everybody just respond and give an answer. Sir, how we can find out even for the ROC also, Divya, for the ROC also. Sir, how we can find out the jet transform this particular function? Sir, if you want to jet transform, and one thing more, question solve karte raho, or people who are new in this channel, subscribe is also, like it also, guys. Right? There are around 36 people are basically live. So just like this session also. F of n having the jet transform, we have to find out n dot u of n. How we can find out the jet transform of this function? Everybody. Sir, I don't know the n dot u of n having the jet transform, but we know that. What should be the jet transform of u of n? So my dear friend, if you want to find out the u of n jet transform, sir, u of n का होगा jet transform, we can directly write, sir, 1 upon 1 minus z inverse, or z upon z minus 1, whatever you can write it. Mod z is greater than 1. This is called ROC. Now, sir, if you multiply with n dot u of n, then we have to do minus z multiplied, and apart from this, we have to differentiate this function with respect to z. Everyone, if you want to discuss about the jet transform of this particular function, we can write minus z 1 minus z inverse. After that, if you want 1, it is called 0 minus 1 as it is. And if you want to discuss the jet transform, this minus z raised to power minus 2. Everyone. So what should be the answer? Can anybody give me the answer? अच्छा, माइनस पहले भी तो आएगा, सो माइनस माइनस इट विल बिकम प्लस. सो इफ यू वांट टू डिस्कस द जेड ट्रांसफॉर्म दिस पर्टिकुलर फंक्शन, जेड इनवर्स अपॉन 1 माइनस का स्क्वायर, और वी कैन राइट एवरीबडी जेड अपॉन जेड माइनस 1 का, इसको अगर आप जेड ले लेते हो, जेड का स्क्वायर So it will become Z. Yes, you can also write like this. Correct. Okay. You can write like also this. And ROC, if you want to discuss, again, the ROC is mod Z is greater than 1. ROC will be not affected. ROC will be not affected. नहीं, Chini, wrong beta. Z raised to power minus 1 will become, or either you can write Z upon Z minus 1 ka whole square, or you can write Z inverse upon 1 minus Z inverse. Okay. If this part is basically clear to you, then we are moving on the next. Okay. Okay, same thing. I'm just asking the one more question and I'm giving as a homework. Everybody, if I'm giving you the one question as a homework, you have to find out the Z transform of f of n equal to n dot a raised to power n u of n. And do not, okay, try to solve this question here itself. Everybody, n dot a raised to power n u of n. Just find out the Z transform this particular function. N dot a raised to power n u of n. Jeel, yes, absolutely correct. Jeel, for that question, your answer is absolutely correct. Komal, you have forget the square. Otherwise, your answer is absolutely correct, Komal. Anisha, Z upon Z. Anisha, absolutely correct. Right. Guntru, Sai. Sir, signal system 10. Sir, SNS 101. Okay, Guntru. Differentiation. Okay. Everyone, just solve this question, guys. Very simple, yaar. अब तो आपको 54 भर का question. How we can do it? Everyone. Sir, we know that a raised to power n, ये चल नहीं रहा है तो इसको हटा देते. If I'll discuss, sir, we already know that a raised to power n u of n. If you want to find out the Z transform of this function, we can write Z upon Z minus a. Z upon Z minus a. Mod Z is greater than a. Mod Z is greater than a. We already know that this function. How we can find out, everybody? Sir, if you multiply it with n, then we have to what? Sir, we have to differentiate this function. Come on. We have to differentiate the function with respect to what? Z. So, and minus Z multiplied d upon dz, Z upon Z minus a ka a. You have to solve this question. And after that, if you want to write this answer, a Z inverse. Yes, correct, Shiraz. If you want to write the answer, we can write a Z inverse upon 1 minus a Z inverse ka whole square. Mod Z is greater than a. Mod Z is greater than a. That is the answer. Very simple discussion. Very simple discussion. Hope everybody understood this concept. Everybody just respond yes or no. If this question is clear to you, just write down yes or no, and then I'm giving you the some different question. अगर ये है तो same in the property based on this time domain or multiply by n property or frequency domain differentiation property. Based on this, I'm going to one more question. We are going to solve a very good quality question. But up to this portion, everything is clear to you or not? Everybody just write down yes or no. अरे चमका नहीं चमका, एवरीवन, चमका नहीं चमका. झील, शिराज, कुंड्रू, चिनी, कोमल, झील, दृशी, अनीशा, एवरीबॉडी जस्ट रिस्पॉन्ड. यस सर, बहुत ही बढ़िया कोमल, बहुत बढ़िया. एवरीवन जस्ट रिस्पॉन्ड करते रहो, आगे बढ़ते रहो. पढ़ेगा इंडिया तभी तो बढ़ेगा इंडिया. प्रिया मोहन, बहुत बढ़िया. अब अगर बेटा ये कंसेप्ट क्लियर है, कुछ क्वेश्चन आपको घर के लिए दे रहा हूं. एवरीवन ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. जस्ट ट्राई टू सॉल्व दिस क्वेश्चन. Few question as a homework. N square u of n. Find the Z transform this function. Next question. N plus 1 u of n. N plus 1 u of n. चमका, बहुत बढ़िया कॉमन. Now next question, if you want to discuss, everybody try to understand n plus 1 u of n. Now the next question, if you want to discuss, I am writing n square a raised to power n u of n. These three question and एक दो question और दे देता हूँ. Question cos omega naught n dot u of n. Cos omega naught n dot u of n. This is also homework question. One more question. N dot sine omega naught n u of n. Already we have discussed what should be the Z transform cos omega naught n dot u of n. What should be the Z transform of n sine omega naught n. We have already discussed yesterday. Now only the differentiation property I have associated. That's it. और अगर इतना क्लियर है तो एक और क्वेश्चन, बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन एवरीवन. But before going to that, I just want to write the one question, a very simple question first. After that, we'll increase the sum level. Okay. अगर इतनी चीजें क्लियर है तो बेटा देखो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. If this part is basically clear to you, then we are moving on the next. Everyone, एक क्वेश्चन आपके लिए. Find the jet transform. Come on, find the jet transform. Find the jet transform of f of n equal to 1 by 3 raised to power mod of n. And also find the ROC. And also find the ROC. जेट ट्रांसफॉर्म भी कैलकुलेट करना है, आरओसी भी निकालना भाई, सबको सॉल्व करना है, सबको. बहुत ही सिंपल सा क्वेश्चन है, वेरी इजी क्वेश्चन, नॉट दैट मच ऑफ टफ. बेसिक कंसेप्चुअल क्वेश्चन. पीपल हु आर वेरी मच ऑफ सीरियस रिगार्डिंग टू द गेट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, जो टाइम पास नहीं कर रहे हैं, जिनको गेट वाकई निकालना है वो क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करें. जिनको टाइम पास करना है वो देखें और फिर देख के थोड़ी देर बाद निकल के चले जाएं. ओके एवरीवन, just solve this question. Very simple question, it is not that much of tough guys. Again very simple. Find the jet transform of f of n equal to 1 upon 3 mod raised to power n. Sir, how we can solve this question? First look at this function 1 upon 3 mod of n. Sir, if you want to write this function, it is split into two parts. Sir, either we can write 1 by 3 raised to power minus n when n is less than 0, or 1 by 3 raised to power n when n is greater than equal to 0. Because mod n we can split into the two parts. Whenever the value is negative, it will multiply it with minus, and whenever the positive, as it is we can write. बहुत ही बढ़िया चीनी, बहुत ही बढ़िया. So everybody try to understand, sir, how we can solve this question. So if you want to write 1 by 3 raised to power mod of n, we can write this function exactly like, sir, 1 by 3 raised to power minus n u of minus n minus 1 plus 1 by 3 raised to power n u of n. We can write like this. We can write like this. And if you want to write like this, no ROC. बहुत ही बढ़िया. किसने बताया? Common. Excellent. Excellent. Sriraj. Excellent. Only 2 people given the correct answer of this particular question. बहुत ही बढ़िया. Sir, we can also write 3 raised to power n. जबकि दोनों ने गलत दिया है ना, कॉमन ने भी दिया है और शिराज ने भी. Both having the given the correct wrong answer for this question actually. Even the Chini also has given the wrong answer for this question. Very simple question, क्यों गलत कर देते हो मुझे समझ में नहीं आता. जोर से चिल्लाओगे ये खुद ही क्वेश्चन आंसर बोल देगा. 1 by 3 raised to power n u of n. This is the function like this. 3 raised to power n u of minus n minus 1 plus 1 by 3 raised to power n u of n. It is like this. And now what should be the answer, sir? If you want to write, what should be the ROC of this? Sir, mod z is less than 3. Okay, what should be the ROC of this? Mod z is greater than 1 by 3. There should be the common ROC or not? Yes, there will be the common ROC. Yes, Chini, correct. So everyone, if you want to write, sir, it is called R equal to 1 or mod z equal to 1. One is called outward, that is called 3, and one is called inward, 1 by 3. It is called R equal to 1 by 3. It is called R equal to 3. 1 by 3 say greater, 3 say less. So the ROC will be like this. This is the ROC. This is the ROC. So if you want to discuss stripped. Yes, Divya, correct. So if you want to discuss, yes sir, ROC exists and that ROC value should be, everybody, ROC exists and that ROC value should be, sir, between 1/3 to 3. If ROC exists, then we can write the jet transform also exist. So my dear friend, we can say that, sir, mod Z is greater than 1/3 less than 3. ROC exists. Now we are able to find out what? Jet transform. अब कैलकुलेट कर लो jet transform. कैसे कैलकुलेट करोगे मेरे भाई? f of z equal to z upon z minus 3 plus z upon z minus 1/3 minus लगा के. Why? Because there is no minus, so here we have to use minus. Very simple discussion, very simple. Okay, can anybody give an answer? Yes, very good. Amit Raj, बहुत बढ़िया. By the observation of this function, can anybody respond whether the function is stable or not? Everyone just respond. Whether this function is stable or not, everybody just respond. क्या मुझे कोई बता सकता है कि फंक्शन स्टेबल है क्या? Everyone, whether this function is stable or not? Everyone just respond. Come on मेरे भाई, जल्दी से रिस्पॉन्स करके बता दो. सिस्टम स्टेबल और नहीं? स्टेबल और नॉट? स्टेबल और नॉट? स्टेबल और नॉट? जल्दी. किसी को कोई मतलब नहीं है भाई. गला आदमी चिल्ला के परेशान हो गया कि कोई बता दो स्टेबल है कि नहीं है. सर, whenever in the ROC, if the function is, whenever in the ROC, one unity circle included, the function is stable. Yes, the unity circle included, so function is stable. इसमें कौन सा क्रांतिकारी था बताओ? Yes, function is stable. Function is stable. Okay, whether the function is causal or not, everybody just respond. Whether this function is causal or not, everyone just respond. Yes, but not causal. Why? Because any function is causal whenever the ROC is what? Sir, ROC is outward only. Sir, ROC in the form of strip. So we can say that causal but not stable. Causal but not stable. Very simple. Okay, if this one is clear to you, then I am asking one more question. Everybody, just give me the answer of one question. Everyone just respond this question. Same question, similar type question. Only one parameter, one function is also associated in it. Everyone just respond this question. जल्दी से सब दे देना बेटा. अब only those people are able to solve this question who knows and who understood this previous question. जिसने अभी भी जो हमने सॉल्व किया, जिसको समझ में आ गया, वो इसको भी स्वयं को भी सॉल्व कर देगा. अरे बट नोट कॉजल. यस, बट नोट कॉजल. हाँ, ये प्रिंटिंग मिस्टेक था. बट नोट कॉजल. यस, everyone just give me the answer of this question. Again, very simple question. If x of n equal to 1/3 raised to power 1/3 raised to power mod of n minus 1/2 raised to power n u of n, then the region of the convergence ROC of the jet transform in the z plane will be, you have to give the answer, in the z plane will be. Everyone just respond. जल्दी से रिस्पॉन्स कर दो बेटा. What is the answer of this particular question? Very simple again. Sir, one function we already know. 1/3 raised to power mod of n, already we know that. अरे अभी तो देखा था. 1/3 raised to power mod of n if you want to write. Sir, already we have discussed and the function is minus 1/2 raised to power minus 1/2 raised to power n. u of n. इसी को तो सॉल्व करना है भाई. कुछ है ही नहीं, दम ही नहीं है इसमें तो. Everyone. Everyone has given the answer C, 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 B, C, B, C, B, C, C, B, C, B, C, B, C, B. बहुत ही बढ़िया. Should I take the average? C plus B divided by 2. Right? Okay. Very simple. Sir, this function you can write into the two parts. We already know. 3 raised to power plus 1/3 raised to power n u of n minus 1/2 raised to power n u of n. Okay, यही तो है फंक्शन. नाउ वी नो दैट इफ यू वांट टू डिस्कस दिस वन, we know that mod z is less than 3. It is called, this one is saying mod z is less than 1 by 3. This one is saying more, sorry, not less than, greater than 1 by 3. This is going mod z is greater than, mod z is greater than 1 by 2. 0.33, 0.5. 0.33, 0.5. Whenever the outward signal, whenever the combination of the outward signal is given, then common ROC will be always outward from the outermost pole. Outward from the outermost pole. Which one is outermost pole? 0.33, 0.5. Sir, 0.5. So greater than 1 by 2. So the common ROC will become nothing. It is just a mod z is greater than 1 by 2 and less than 3. So absolutely C is the correct answer. अब मुझे एक चीज बताओ, ये A वाले अमृता, अथर्वा, अमृता, how you are thinking like A? I am not getting your answer. One by 2 raised to power u of n है. How we can write? You can write. हाँ, if you are writing here u of minus n minus 1, then we can say that. नहीं, तब भी ये नहीं होगा. Then also it is wrong. Good evening, Shiva. Okay. Everyone just respond. How many of you understood this problem? Just write down yes or no. Just write down yes or no. How many of you understood this concept? So that I'll give you one more question. I'll give you one more question, guys. अगर ये clear है तो एक और question आपके लिए. हाँ, सिर्फ आपके लिए. साई प्रिया, absolutely. साई प्रिया, बहुत बढ़िया. शिवा बेटा, तुम भी आंसर दे दो. What is the correct answer for this question? Everyone respond. Now we are moving on the next. एक और क्वेश्चन आपके सामने. Everyone just give me the answer of this question. Just give me the answer of this question. Consider a discrete LTI system given by h1 of n is given 1 by 3 raised to power n u of n minus 3, and h2 of n is given 3 raised to power n u of n plus 3. Which one of the following or which of the following is true? A is h1 is causal, h2 is stable. H1 is non-causal, h2 is stable. C is h1 is stable, h2 is non-causal. D is h1 is unstable, h2 is causal. Everyone just respond for this question. If you understood the concept, you are definitely going to give the answer of this particular question in correct manner. अगर आपको समझ में आया है तो आप क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व कर दोगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी. Even I am asking the question you understood or not, very less people are responding yes. बाकी के तो सब मोह माया से ऊपर उठ चुके, किसी को कोई मतलब नहीं है. सर गेट ये क्या होता है? इससे आईआईटी मिलती है, पीएसयू, ये क्या होता है आईआईटी? ओके. ओके. Everyone just respond and give me the answer of this question. Which one is correct? Dhruv has given the answer C. बहुत बढ़िया. Amrita, sir, intersection of all ROC. No. This question is something different, Amrita. Yes. Shiva, C. बहुत ही बढ़िया. Chini, B. Amula, MB, B. बहुत ही बढ़िया. सब दो बेटा, सब दो. पढ़े लिखे हो, सब पढ़ रहे हैं और सबको पता है जेट ट्रांसफॉर्म. जिसको नहीं पता है, वी हैव ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड. दिस क्वेश्चन इज नॉट फ्रॉम द अदर कंसेप्ट. वॉट एवर वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इन टू द क्लास, दिस क्वेश्चन इज बेस्ड ऑन दिस दोज कंसेप्ट ओनली. एवरीवन जस्ट रिस्पॉन्ड एंड गिव द आंसर. अमित, बहुत बढ़िया. सी. ओके. एवरीवन, व्हाट शुड बी द h of 1 is given? सर, इफ यू वांट टू राइट h1 of n, h1 of n is given 1 by 3 raised to power n, u of n minus 3. Okay. h2 of n, if you want to discuss, it is called nothing. It is just a what? 3 raised to power n u of n plus 3. Okay. If you want to observe this function, guys, everybody, if you want to observe this function, very simple it is. Sir, it will start from n equal to 3 to infinity, and whenever you are increasing the power positive, this will become decreasing function, so it is stable. It is a stable function. It is a converging function, right? Okay. 3, it is a non-converging. Non-converging means unstable. ये तो देख के ही पता चल रहा है. Because whenever you are forming the question, if you increase the value of n in the positive side, you can feel this value will become very smaller value. And whenever the function is smaller value, it means decreasing, means converging in nature. So this function is stable. Okay, this function will present from n equal to 3. After the n equal to 3, this function is present. If this function will present after the n equal to 3, it means only in the positive side that function is present. So this function will be only positive side, causal. Okay. Sir, n equal to -3. This function will present from the negative side itself. And as we know, whenever the function in the time domain will present into the negative side, that will become non-causal. कल ही मैंने बताया था. So I'm writing this is called non-causal or non-causal. Now you can match which one is correct. Stable causal, unstable non-causal. Which one is correct? देखो, H1 causal, yes, and H2 stable. No, A option is wrong. B option is H1 is non-causal, wrong. C option H1 is stable and H2 is non-causal. C option is absolutely correct. D option H1 is stable. No, only the C option is the correct answer. C is the correct answer of this particular question. Please explain one again, sir. Stability, sir. Okay, Chini, no issues, beta. देखो, if you follow this function, ये मैंने ऐसे मान के किया है कि आपको पहले से ही पता है. बाकी का अगर नहीं पता तो ध्यान से समझे. चिनी, ध्यान से समझो बेटा. How we can say that there is a two technique, whether the ROC includes the unity circle or not. According to that, you are able to find out the function is stable or not, right? Like this. Okay. This is also outward signal. You can also feel it is outward just because of u of n minus 3. This is also called outward. Both are outward, but it exclude everybody, but it exclude n equal to due to the negative side also present. So at r equal to or mod z equal to infinity is excluded. That's why it will comes into the strip form. That's why it will become non-causal and it will become outward. ये तो हमको समझ में आ गया है. अब देखो everyone, how we can find out the stable? Sir, in this case we can say that mod z is greater than 1/3. Include the unity circle, stable. In this case we can write mod z is greater than 3. Excluded unity circle. So excluded unity circle, unstable, or it is called stable. एक तो टेक्निक ये हुआ. The second one by the graphical method. Everyone, the second one by the graphical method. Just look at this function h1. How the h1 is looking like. थोड़ा सा मैं इसको इरेज करके h1 को समझा देता हूँ. Everyone. Okay. Now if you want to discuss about h1 of n, how the h1 of n is looking like, everybody try to understand. 1/3 raised to power n u of minus n, sorry, plus n minus 3. If you want to observe this function whether it is present, and if you want to sketch this function, we can write directly h1 of n 3 से प्रेजेंट होगा, और whenever you will put 3, it will become 1/3 raised to power 3. One by 3 raised to power 3. Next, if you want to write 4, 1/3 raised to power 4. 5, 1/3 raised to power 5, because it is a fraction value. So whenever you are using the power, right, बढ़ाते जा रहे हो, the magnitude will decrease, so it will become. And now if you want to add it, अगर आप चाहो इसका addition, when we can say that any function is stable, whenever the any function summation of n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity mod of h of n mod is less than infinity. It means whenever the any function is absolute summable, whenever the any function is absolute summable, that function is called stable. So I'm writing absolute summable. जब भी कभी summable, the function is stable. So if you integrate this function or sum this value, you will get the finite value. आप इसको sum कर लीजिए. n equal to 3 to infinity 1 by 3 raised to power 3 or 1 by 3 raised to power n. Just use this value, right? GP, it will become GP. If you solve it, you will get the answer, right? It is an absolute summable. It will give you the finite value. So we can say directly also, we can say that function is stable. Okay. And now if you want to find out the Z transform, then by the Z transform also we can say that the mod Z is greater than 1 by 3. So this function is of course it will include the unity circle. ROC will include the unity circle. It is a stable function. Okay, this function, if you want to observe this function, look at the H2 of n. Sir, how H2 of n is looking like? Sir, if you want to discuss the H2 of n, मेरे भाई, मेरे प्यारे दोस्त, my dear friend, sir, how it will be looking like? Sir, n equal to -3, it will be start from the -3. -3, if you put n equal to -3, so -3 it will become 1 by 3. n equal to -3, 1 by 3. -2, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3 like this. -3 if you want to discuss, it will become -3, इस पे रख दो n की वैल्यू -3, so 1 by 3 raised to power 3, 1 by 3 raised to power 2, 1 by 3, it will become 1, it will become 3, it will become 3 square, it will become 3 raised to power 3 like this. It is a you can feel it is a diverging series. It is a diverging series, so it is unstable. It is a diverging series, so it is an unstable function. Very simple. Now one more question, everybody. If this one is basically clear to you, then we are moving on the next part, right? एक और question करवा रहा हूँ, very important question. Yes, Chini, but not always. You have to find out. You can use the word whenever the function is absolute integrable or summable. Then that function is called stable. Whenever the function is not absolute summable, then it is called unstable. Yusuf. Meaning now get success. So sir, I am you. Even from you learned many things to get the. Oh, thank you, Yusuf. Thank you, bhai. Thank you. Okay. Now we are moving on the next question. एक और question दे रहा हूँ. Very important question, guys. एक question आप लोगों को मैं दे रहा हूँ. Okay. One question I am giving you, everybody. That question is कि सर ये क्वेश्चन है, फाइंड द इनवर्स Z ट्रांसफॉर्म. बट बिफोर गोइंग टू दिस, आई एम जस्ट वांट टू राइट द वन फॉर्मूला ऑफ द इनवर्स Z ट्रांसफॉर्म. आफ्टर दैट विल डिस्कस द मोर प्रॉपर्टी ऑल्सो, राइट? सर, व्हाट शुड बी द फॉर्मूला ऑफ द इनवर्स Z ट्रांसफॉर्म? Inverse Z transform having the formula f of n equal to 1 upon 2 pi j कंटूर में f of z z raised to power n minus 1 dz. So this is the formula by which you can get the f of z to f of n. This is the formula of the what? Inverse Z transform. Inverse Z transform. Athira, thank you. Okay, Athira, no issues, right? Okay. Now I am asking one question. इसको generally use नहीं करना है. In the mathematics, you are going to use this type of contour formula in the signal system. Do not use this formula to find out the inverse Z transform. There will be the by difference equation or by the partial fraction method. Do not go for the residue method, right? We'll solve all the question by the partial fraction method, right? In the signal system terms. Okay. Now एक question दे रहा हूँ, very important question. ओके सर 37 लोग देख रहे हैं. ओके शिराज, sir, H2FN is left sided signal. No, it is not a left sided signal. Some of the portion will present into the left side. It does not mean that it is a left-sided signal. It is a right-sided. One point is excluded. It will form into the terms of strip. Okay, now one question I'm giving you. Find the jet transform. आर्क बेटा क्या हो गया कि 37 लोग देख रहे हैं, इसमें हंसने की क्या बात है बेटा? हो सकता है जो देख रहे हैं उनमें से एक इतिहास रचने की कैपेबिलिटी रखता हो, राइट? सो इट इज नॉट 37. 1000 बच्चों को दिखा दो पर रैंक नहीं आ रहा तो क्या मतलब मेरे भाई, क्या मतलब? 2 को पढ़ाओ और दोनों को रैंक आ जाए, मजा तो उसमें. ओके, नाउ फाइंड द जेट ट्रांसफॉर्म ऑफ log 1 plus a z inverse mod z is greater than a. Find the jet transform of log 1 plus a z inverse mod z is greater than a. Okay. Thank you, Ark bhai. Thank you. Okay. Everyone, find the jet transform of log 1 plus a z inverse. Just take this question as your homework. No issues. Just take this question as your homework. In the tomorrow session, I am going to solve this question with the 2 method. And by those two method, we are going to take the different type question. And if you got the answer, just write the answer of this question into the comment box. Just write the answer of this question into the comment box. Ark बेटा, अगर आपकी दुआ और इतना विश्वास रहा तो जरूर ये भी होगा, पर इससे अपन मोह माया से ऊपर उठ चुके हैं आर्क भाई. मजा तो तब आएगा आर्क मेरे भाई कि जब रैंक आया और रैंक के बाद तुम कॉल करके बोलो सर इतिहास रच दिया सर, ऑल इंडिया रैंक 1 आई है सर. वो प्राउड जो है ना, जो हमें फील होगा, वो एक अलग ही चीज है मेरे प्यारे दोस्त. ओके, so everybody find the jet transform log 1 plus a z inverse mod z is greater than a. You have to solve this question and you have to write the answer of this particular question into the comment box. Into the comment box you have to write the answer. And tomorrow we are going to discuss this question in very much of detail. कल मैं इसी क्वेश्चन से शुरुआत करूंगा, right? Okay, one thing more, everybody try to understand what I am going to write. This is the homework question. Chini, I have given the answer. Okay, different. Yes. Shiraz, there is the 2 method. One, you can solve this question by the log 1 plus x, right? Or you can say that by expansion method also you can write. And the second method is called by differentiation property. So they are the 2 methods by which you are able to solve this question. Any of the method you can choose and you have to solve this answer and write this answer into the comment box, right? Okay. Now guys, I just want to share the one. ये तो बहुत okay. Now I just want to share some information. Everybody try to understand what should be the meaning of this. ये question के बाद थोड़ा सा आगे बढ़ते हैं और एक चीज मैं बताना चाहता हूँ. In the last, I just want to share some information. And what is that information? कि sometime you can feel no, Shrini, wrong. Shri, Prashant, थोड़ा सा wrong हो गया. Otherwise your answer is absolutely correct. A little bit wrong you have done. Otherwise your answer is correct, right? Okay. सोचो कोई बंदा ऐसा हो. Everybody, I'm just asking the one question. कि nowadays there's lots of frustration around us is basically going on. And by the very little things we got frustrated, right? I just want to share some name who or lots of, or you can say that even the teacher frustrated them. उन लोगों को टीचर्स ने फ्रस्ट्रेट किया. और एक छोटे से आदमी के एग्जाम्पल मैं आपको देने की कोशिश कर रहा हूं. There were the one student child, you can say that. वो बहुत ही, और we can say that कि उसका दिमाग इतना अच्छे से नहीं चलता था. और जब वो कॉलेज के अंदर, स्कूल के अंदर गया तो उसको स्कूल से निकाल दिया गया यह बोलकर कि तुम मंद बुद्धि बालक हो, you do not have such a brain, यू आर नॉट ए नॉर्मल स्टूडेंट. एंड ये बोलकर उसको स्कूल से बाहर निकाल दिया गया. और वो बाहर निकलने के बाद, और स्कूल वालों ने उसको एक लेटर लिख के दिया. एवरीबॉडी, स्कूल वालों ने उसको एक लेटर लिख के दिया. और उस लेटर पे लिखा हुआ था, उसकी माँ ने उस लेटर को पढ़ा और उस लेटर पे लिखा हुआ था कि आपका बच्चा जो है वो मंद बुद्धि बालक है और उसको मंद बुद्धि बालक होने की वजह से इसको हम स्कूल के अंदर नहीं रख सकते और आप कृपया करके इसको स्कूल से हमने निकाल दिया है. आप अपने हिसाब से देख लो उस बच्चे का क्या करना है. उसकी माँ ने जब उस लेटर को पढ़ा तो उसके बच्चे ने, छोटे से बच्चे ने क्यूरियोसिटी के साथ उसके माँ से पूछा कि मम्मी स्कूल वालों ने इस लेटर में क्या लिखा. तो उसकी माँ ने उसको बोला कि स्कूल वालों ने लेटर में ये लिखा है कि आपका जो बच्चा है वो बहुत ही इंटेलिजेंट है. योर चाइल्ड इज वेरी मच ऑफ इंटेलिजेंट एंड हमारे पास ऐसा कोई टीचर नहीं है कि हम उसको पढ़ा सकें, तो कृपया करके आप उसको घर पे रखिए और उसको घर पर ही पढ़ाइए. और इस लेटर के अंदर ये लिखा हुआ है. वो बच्चा भी कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डअप हुआ, उसके माँ ने भी को भी आंसू आ गए और वो पढ़ाती गई, कोई दिक्कत नहीं। और वो बच्चा बड़ा होकर, राइट, यू ऑल आर बेसिकली नोन, ये है वो जिनकी मैं स्टोरी बता रहा था, द आइंस्टीन, राइट। बड़े होकर आइंस्टीन बने और एक दिन जब वो अलमारी साफ कर रहे थे तो उनमें उनको लेटर मिला, और उस लेटर के जब उन्होंने पढ़ा तो उस लेटर में लिखा हुआ था कि आपका बच्चा मंदबुद्धि बालक है और उसको कृपया करके स्कूल से हमने निकाल दिया, अपने घर पे रखो, आपका बच्चा पढ़ने लायक नहीं है। और उसको देखते उसके माँ पढ़ते ही आइंस्टीन की आंखों से आंसू आने लगे और उसने सोचा कि उस टाइम अगर मेरी माँ ने इस लेटर के अंदर कि जो सच्चाई अगर वो मुझे बता दिया होता तो शायद मेरा कॉन्फिडेंस इतना नीचे आ जाता कि मैं जिंदगी में कभी कोई मेहनत नहीं कर पाता। सो मेरे प्यारे दोस्तों, माय डियर फ्रेंड, एवरीबडी ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड इन द लाइफ, एवरी टाइम आई नो यू हैव ए पोटेंशियल, पर कितनी बार उस पोटेंशियल को बनाने के लिए एक कॉन्फिडेंस अंदर से आना बहुत जरूरी है, और वो कॉन्फिडेंस के लिए अपने आप को मोटिवेट रखना जरूरी है, सराउंडिंग से नहीं, अपने आप से। हम छोटी छोटी चीजों से डिमोटिवेट हो जाते हैं। एक क्वेश्चन इंटीग्रेशन का मान लीजिए क्वेश्चन है, अगर आप सॉल्व नहीं कर पाए, आधे लोगों को आप बताओगे, पता चला किसी आपके दोस्त ने सॉल्व कर दिया, हम देख के डिप्रेस हो जाते हैं, ओ माय गॉड, इसको आता है मेरे को नहीं आता है, ये गेट फोड़ देगा। अरे उससे कोई मतलब नहीं निकलता है। बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन हम देखते हैं, किसी अपने क्लास के टॉपर ने आपका फॉर्म भर दिया गेट का, हम उसको देख के डिप्रेस हो जाते हैं, यही फोड़ेगा पेपर, जबकि क्लास कॉलेज के टॉपर से गेट का कोई लेना देना नहीं। इट इज अ सेपरेट एग्जाम। So everybody try to understand. If you have a guts, if you know you are able to crack that exam with the good marks, you are going to definitely crack that exam. But you should be a very passionate. You should be hardworking. You should be you motivated towards your target. If you are motivated towards your target, definitely you are able to crack that exam. I don't know you believe on it or not. I am believe on it, right? मैं आपकी इन सब चीजों पे believe करता हूं, and definitely मेरे प्यारे दोस्तों आप करके रहोगे, right दिव्या? राइट। सो मैं ये सब चीजें छोटे छोटे एग्जाम्पल इसलिए मेरे प्यारे दोस्तों देख रहा हूं क्योंकि हमारी जिंदगी बहुत ही अच्छी है और हमें बहुत ही ज्यादा सोचने समझने की क्षमता भी है। बहुत से लोग ऐसे जिनका भी मैंने भी ये सामने जो है जो एग्जाम्पल है, जिनको पूरी दुनिया कहती थी ये मंदबुद्धि है, इन्होंने ये बता दिया कि दिमाग के कितने तेज थे। तो दुनिया के कहने से नहीं चलना है, हमको हमारे हिसाब से चलना है। हम जीनियस है मतलब है, लोगों के सर्टिफिकेट की जरूरत नहीं है कि वो आकर बताएं कि तू जीनियस है, नहीं, हम पर विश्वास होना चाहिए कि हम जीनियस है मतलब है। That's it. So guys, thank you very much. All the very best. Prep smart, be safe, go Gradeup. Thank you. See you tomorrow at the same time at 9 o'clock with the solution of this question and some properties based questions only, because we have discussed the property and tomorrow we are going to discuss the questions. So guys, thank you very much. All the very best. ध्यान रखिए अपना, खुश रहिए, स्माइल करते रहिए और पढ़ते रहिए, क्योंकि पढ़ेगा इंडिया तभी तो बढ़ेगा इंडिया। थैंक यू।